the talk of the town. My name is Brian Kelley, and I'm here in the milk truck with Joe Manning. Say hello, Joe.
Good morning.
He's trying to see where he's going.
Yeah.
And on the other side here, Nicole is our camera lady. Come on, go point on. This is Peter. And Peter, look at the camera. Say hello.
Good morning.
And here we are on the same route that's been traveled for how many years?
Well, Peter and I have been doing this since we were kids. For me, it's been going on 50 years. I started when I was in high school during the summer months, and we've been doing it. That's all we've ever done is deliver milk, really. So just my grandfather was in the business, our father was in the business, and we're in the business now. One of my sons are in the business. One of them is really running the show now. I just want to hang on for a few more years and help him out as much as I can. But he's calling the shots right now.
Your son is?
Yeah, Jonathan. Yeah.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is, as they say, he is the man, and he's doing a great job. He works like hell, and he's just a good kid. He's just had his fourth child, and he's just an awesome young man. So
fabulous.
Yep. He works hard. He really works hard.
So what time do you usually leave the barn?
We usually leave around 5:45, 6 o'clock, depending on how much we have to do before we actually hit the road. The other trucks have already left. Some of the guys leave around 4:30. There's five trucks on the road every day, and some of them we have two on the wholesale routes. They do restaurants and sub shops and a couple of nursing homes that we do, and then there's three on home delivery, which is the part of the business I like the best. And the wholesale to me is not as personal. The retail, the home delivery side is it's just a great way to make a living. Some days I don't leave the town of Milton. It's a small world, but it works for me. There's no commuting. We both live right behind the business, and my sister lives behind the business. My daughter just built a house behind the business. We've been on that same piece of property for, I think it's 118 years. So
and you show some longevity.
Yeah, but it's just one of these things, and I never told my two sons. My other son Joey, he works there, and I never told them they had to go into business. They can do what they want, and they're doing it, and they're doing a good job. They're doing a great job. Watch yourself. They're doing a great job, actually. It's, if you want to work for someone else, that's fine. But I've always enjoyed working by myself. And right now the home delivery part of the business is making a comeback. So it's better than it was, say, 10, 12 years ago. Most of the reason for that, I think, is people like the milk in the glass bottles, the glass containers, and we've had that right along. Some of the companies did away with the glass bottles, and they went to all plastic. But people like the bottles, and that's one of the reasons we're still in business. They pay a premium price, but obviously people think it's worth it.
You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, and the quality of milk that comes down from this dairy farm up in North Haven, New Hampshire, it's called Hatchland Farm. Is the guy up there, Howard, one of the brothers, there's two brothers. Howard runs the farm and Ricky runs the dairy. They say it goes from grass to glass, and they come down to Boston 5 days a week, and the product is none fresher. There's no growth hormones, no antibiotics. It's just, as they say, farm fresh. And that's I love doing business with them. It's probably one of the best things that's happened. We've been doing business with them now for pretty close to 20 years. And this is my first stop of the day right here.
Now, where are you going?
I'm going across the street.
Right across the street.
I'm going to put the air brake on here.
Okay, we're making our first delivery of the morning.
If this wasn't a vacation week, the traffic would be roaring down here, but it's an off week. Big difference in the traffic flow.
Will you get the order preset on the truck.
That's your regular order, and then people, they change it a little bit. Most people have a set order, weekly, and then they, change it. The kids aren't around, they don't use as much or whatever.
Was it like 4 items they have to order minimum?
Yeah,
or something?
yeah. We don't have a delivery charge. We try to stay away from it, and we try to get people to take at least 4 items so we can, obviously make a buck.
Take a look at the camera here.
Yeah,
folks, this is it. This is the real thing. This is the real McCoy, right?
Well, we do our job, and it's like I said, it's work now, and. When I think back, I don't have to commute. It's some days I don't even leave the town. And that's some guys that friends of mine. They're on airplanes. They travel here and there, and that gets old in a hurry.
Sure.
Yeah. But this is what I've enjoyed. So, and same with my brother.
Right.
And my sister used to. We had the dairy farm working there. She used to drive trucks and everything else. When you worked for my father, there was
everybody worked.
Everybody worked. Yeah, it wasn't come in and sit down and have a cup of coffee and see what It just when you get there, you started working. And when you had cows, we probably had close to 300 there at one time. Back in the late.
So you
50s.
were up early milking the cows at one time?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So by now the day would be almost over.
Exactly. Well, no, you keep on going, and now we would be starting to spread manure on the fields and plant corn and get the stuff ready, and then all summer long you'd be baling hay and then get ready to cut corn in the fall. It was the workload was huge compared to what it is today. Our mother just passed away probably 7 weeks ago, 97 years old, lived in the house until the end, right down the street. And she worked just as hard.
You know
as
why she lived
else.
so long?
Yeah.
She drank that milk without those growth hormones and all that stuff in it.
Yeah, well, she was quite a woman. And to put up with my father and the way his work ethic was, there was nothing better than a good day's work. It's the way that generation was, though.
Sure.
It's just a hard generation, And it's the way we used to have probably 20 to 25 men boarding there at one time. We had a cook, and there were bondmen, there were dairymen, and we had the whole operation right from and that's the way it was, And the worst thing you could tell our father was you had nothing to do.
You never said you were bored.
No, wrong thing to say. Because
Nicole, can you see the truck behind us?
Yeah.
Move over this way a little bit, Nicole, to your right, so you can see the truck behind us.
Because if you said you had nothing to do, he'd find something
for you to do.
Yeah.
Now, how old is this truck?
This truck is 15. It's the oldest truck on the fleet. Yeah, of all.
It's the oldest truck.
Yeah. But it's the oldest, but it doesn't go very far, in a week. It just stays right in Milton mostly. I go to Quincy tomorrow, but that's about it. That's my little world right there.
Hey,
yeah.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
And it works.
Okay.
It's been working, and like I said, we had 4 children, my wife Ann and I, and like I said, the 2 boys are in the business, and it's provided a living. So it's I don't travel very far. I don't really have to get on planes and go all over the country. I just stay right here. And we've been fortunate. We've been very fortunate. Business has kept up, and it's good. And right now, it's doing extremely well.
Good.
Even with the economy the way it is. No, we have no complaints. Can't complain at all.
Well, thank you. I'm going to go back to the barn and talk with Marita.
Good.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Hey, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Peter, you have a few words you want to say, Pete? To the folks at home here in Milton Cable?
We got to go to work.
Got to go to work. Okay. Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm here with Marita Manning Cronin. And Marita, who started the farm? Was it your grandfather? Your great-grandfather?
Great-grandfather.
Your great-grandfather. And you have some different products here that you're going to show the folks at home, is that right?
I do. I have some chocolate milk, which is our sort of signature product, and it's whole milk, and it comes in that quart bottle. This is low-fat milk in a quart bottle, and this is low-fat in a half gallon. Now, some folks for home delivery find that the glass quarts and the glass half gallons are kind of heavy, so we do have the same product in a plastic container, which you can recycle. The good thing about the glass, of course, is it gets returned to us, and the industry people say that we get approximately 50 returns on a glass bottle, which is pretty amazing, especially this being Earth Week.
Pause for a second. So, folks, to Joe's son, we were talking to your father. This is Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome to Talk of the Town.
Hi, how's it going?
And so your father says that you're the main man now. Is that true? You're taking over operation here?
I mean, I'm just kind of managing it, helping my dad out.
Tell the folks, right? Helping your dad out. He looks at it differently. He looks like you're the main man now.
I guess I am.
And so this will be, it was your great-grandfather that said it. Your great-great-great-grandfather. Wow. That's unbelievable. Well, listen, we wish you lots of success. We're having fun meeting this is your aunt, right?
Yes.
Your aunt and your dad and your uncle. And so, hey, we wish you a lot of success. And hopefully folks at home will watch the show and realize the value that if they're not using your service that they're missing out on. And if they are using your service, they can be proud that they're supporting local business.
Okay, well.
Thank you, Jonathan. We wish you well.
Okay, thank
So
you.
Jonathan would be the 5th generation.
Unbelievable.
I'm going to just show
Does
you.
Jonathan have any children yet?
Yes, he has 4 children.
So there's a possibility we might get a 6th generation
He
out of
has
this.
4 children. He just had their last baby was born on New Year's Eve.
Wow.
At 11:36. They just didn't wait any longer to be the first baby. We also on the truck have half gallons of ice cream, and this comes from Bliss Dairy in North Attleboro. We have
oh my goodness, this is like
my
everything
grandma's
here.
coffee cake, which is out of Hyde Park in Massachusetts.
Hyde Park?
Hyde Park. We have English muffins and bagels from the Boston Bagel, and they're out of Hyde Park also. We have Alfredo's dinners, which are out of Quincy, of course.
Right. We
have Shoe City pizzas, which come from Brockton, and they're really an awesome
I wonder why they call that Shoe City.
We have Lally Farms out of Hanover. Now, we try to locally source as many things as we can, but of course there are some things we can't. We do carry Stonyfield yogurt, so that's a regional product.
Mm-hmm.
We have, for folks who would like organic eggs, we have the Country Hen, and they're always on the truck. We have freshly squeezed orange juice, which comes from Orchid Island in Florida.
Wow.
And we also carry Boar's Head bacon. And I know that there are other products on the truck. There's bread, as I mentioned. There's bagels. You can really get all your needs for a couple of days right off the truck.
Wow. Well, why don't we put those away, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the history and the reason why someone should consider your milk versus the Stop and Shop brand and things like that, so
Sure.
that they can become more educated about this.
Sure thing.
All righty?
Okay.
So we'll be right back. How are you, sir? Good. No call, tell me. This is the delivery coming down from New Hampshire, from the farm in New Hampshire. Don't trip on there. Oh, great. Welcome. You're on Milton Cable TV.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
So did you milk the cows yesterday? Is this that fresh?
Yes, this milk was in the cows yesterday.
So Jonathan, this is one of the coolers, right?
This is the cooler we keep all the milk in.
Okay. Come on in, Nicole.
And then after he finishes this whole cooler, we fill the milk in the glass bottles. And then this cooler over here.
So this one is you put all the glass bottles in here? Okay.
And then,
Stay close, Nicole, so you can hear it.
And then this cooler over here, we keep all the
Speak real loud.
This cooler over here, we keep all the creams and like the creamers and some of the juice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just get locked in the cooler.
Yeah, this when he gets finished, this cooler will be full too.
Then we full, okay.
Yep.
And then what do you have over here?
This cooler, we keep all the eggs and all the cheeses and everything.
Okay. Go ahead, Nicole.
And then down in the end here, we keep it's a freezer. We keep all the frozen products.
Oh, you got a freezer down here. This is where they punish you. You're bad.
Take all the bagels and the Alfredo's products and the bliss ice cream, and we sell the chicken nuggets and chicken tenders and
Oh, you have chicken nuggets too, eh? My son would like that. Very nice.
frozen pizzas and coffee cakes.
Oh yeah, there's the Alfredo stuff that Maria was just showing us. Woo, it's cold in there. Come on. Farms in Milton, and we're talking with the one of the owners, Jonathan Manning here, and we're going back in to interview his aunt and Marita, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the history of Thatcher Farms. We'll be right back.
All right. You're trying some of the chocolate milk, and the chocolate milk is just an awesome product. It is whole milk, and I think one of the things that the parents like about it is that it's made chocolate with Dutch processed cocoa and not with high fructose corn syrup, which has come under a lot of discussion and concern lately. So you'll notice that it's a cocoa that flavors it, and not, as I say, not a chocolate syrup, which is.
I didn't even know there was a difference with chocolate milk. That it's just it's so unbelievable how we don't know where our food comes, and we don't know what's in our food a lot of times. And so this is just made out of whole milk and cocoa, eh?
And cocoa, Dutch processed cocoa. That's right.
What? Dutch processed cocoa.
Which I think is really common.
Look at this. Okay.
In any case,
wow.
you just did talk to Preston, who's bringing our milk down from.
Oh, that was a gentleman from
Right.
the. Okay.
From
What's the name of that farm?
Hatchland Farm.
Hatchland Farm. Okay.
In North Haverhill, New Hampshire. Now he milks between 250 and 300 cows, as we did. But he's all in one location. He has these enormous fields that just go forever, it seems. And he has barn cleaners. His barn was built specifically for the cows. He has these trucks that drive through and automatically feed the cows. It's just so labor saving. We were such a labor intense operation here with our 250 or almost 300 cows at times.
Because he built a new operation when you evolved from an old operation.
Exactly.
And so you had here in Milton, you had, I think your brother was saying there was almost 300 cows here in Milton.
At times.
Right off of Thatcher Street.
That's right.
Wow.
And they were basically in barns, and we used the cows that were going to calve and don't give milk. We used pasture land at the corner where Quisset Brook is and where Pine Tree Brook Homes is. We used all that land as pasture land. And the so-called dry cows, the cows that were going to calve, were put into those pastures during the summer and until they calved. And then we used a lot of fields around Milton, which are now housing developments. For example, up off Bradley Road, the land that the Perkinses owned, we used for cornfields. And that was silage corn that we chopped and put into the silos in September and October, and we used that as feed for the rest of the year for the cows. And we hayed a lot of fields also. We had a hay baler and the rakes that went with it, and we would rake the hay, cut the hay, rake the hay, and then bale it, and then store it in the barns until winter, and then use that as feed for the winter. And that was supplemented with, I talked to you earlier about the brewery grains that we got from Haffenreffers, and those are spent hops that the farmers, there was Dwyer's in Weymouth, and
we used to have Dwyer's in Weymouth, and we were so disappointed when they went out of business.
And there were other farmers around that we would all kind of vie for the spent hops at Haffenreffer Brewery, which was in Jamaica.
So folks, you're going to see a little clip. So don't go away, because we got a great clip in 1941. What happened in 1941?
1941, when we were 50 years old, one of my dad's friends, a fellow by the name of Harry Carlson, who was a Milton fireman, took this film and kind of captured all aspects of what we did, and he put it together, and we think it's pretty amazing.
And the cows were still here then?
We had the cows. We had the cows until the mid-'60s.
Okay.
When it became increasingly difficult to get help, to run an intense operation like ours in the middle of a residential community, and actually to get feed and to, here we used to get our grain. The grain would come into Butler Street, and we would be able to go down to the Butler Street station. They had a regular railroad thing there for commercial, not just, that's where of course the high-speed trolley goes through there now, but in those days you could get commercial freight trains come right into Butler Street Station.
And so as your supply system broke down, it made it more and more increasingly difficult for you to run a farm operation in such an urban setting.
That's right. And then from the mid-'60s until the mid-'70s, we had the milk truck down from Vermont in tanker trucks, and we processed here. But at that point, it was clear that our equipment needed updating, and so that's when we went to having Hatchland Farms process our milk. And I mean, they were running a similar operation, but in a very rural setting. So they do our milk, and they bring it down all with our label, and they bring it down all in the bottles, and as you could see from the truck.
Right. Okay. So I see. So the farm has been moved, but the distribution, you continue the distribution, and everything else has pretty much remained the same.
We do.
And we're sitting in the office that's been doing this for many years, aren't we?
We are.
You can see some of the old signs on the wall, and there's a picture of a cow up here. And you said there's something over here. Does this come off the wall? Can I take this off?
Sure.
And if you just hold this so they can see it, Nicole, put it right in your lap there. Nicole, can you zoom in on that? Now, what was this about?
In 1991, when we were 100 years old, the Board of Selectmen in Milton had this little proclamation made up for us to recognize that milestone.
Town of Milton's Certificate of Honor, Thatcher Farm, 1891 to 1991, on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of its founding, presented February 21st, 1991. Board of Selectmen. And there's James G. Mullen and Joseph, who's the second? I can see. And William, I can't read it.
It was probably Bill Riley and Joe McGettrick.
That's Joe McGettrick.
Right.
Oh, Joe McGettrick.
Joe McGettrick and Marvin Gordon.
Oh, okay, I couldn't read their signatures. Wow. That's very nice, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, Jim Mullen worked for us. After high school, he was a milkman.
He was a milkman,
He was a great milkman.
So the town clerk was a milkman.
He was. Probably should dust it before.
Oh, well. Okay, so now we had talked a little bit. We're going to show a film, and it's a clip that came out in 1941 that was done. And so folks, I'm going to put that on the air, and you can see it's going to show some of the history of the operation, and show, people see what it was like back then.
That's right.
All right, now let's get to the real important part, the health reasons. Talk a little bit about Joe mentioned on the truck about hormone free and everything. I hear the controversy, and I read stuff about it. People are concerned what we're eating, and people don't know what they're eating. And so I asked you a question, and I'll ask it again: is some people buy their milk, let's say Stop and Shop. So what is the difference between, say, buying a gallon of milk or half gallon of milk at Stop and Shop, or buying it from Thatcher Farm?
Well, I think what Preston said to you in the dairy is one thing, and that is the freshness of it. The milk was, these cows were milked yesterday. The milk is here to be delivered today. That's one thing. The other thing is it comes from one dairy. He has 250 to 300 cows, depending upon how many cows are dry cows that are going to be calving. But he's basically milking 250 cows. They're all his cows. He feeds them. He grows the feed. He knows.
He knows the cows.
It is not a cooperative. You don't have hundreds of different farmers, in this cooperative that you don't really have a total control over. So he's growing the crops. He's got this magnificent operation up there. He's growing the crops. He doesn't use any hormones, growth hormones. He doesn't use any antibiotics. He grows his own crops. I just think it's a truly great product. All along, our thing has been quality and service, and I think that's why we've survived. And
sure.
You just cannot scrimp on quality, and this is a quality product.
Well, I just learning about the cocoa versus using the high fructose corn syrup to sweeten it. I mean, people have way too much of that in their bodies, obviously, because it's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all
and
about
it stabilizes, and it keeps food for a longer time. So
I read an article once of, I guess I won't name the firm, but a very popular firm for donuts and coffee, and they load up the muffins with so many preservatives that you can go in a week later and the muffin feels like it's it's just made.
Well, that's
And that's
right.
the chemicals and things that aren't necessarily good for you. It's kind of like a Twinkie, you know. You can have it for 400. Matter of fact, you probably have a Twinkie here from 1941. And if you're hungry, maybe the camera lady, Nicole, would you like a Twinkie? No.
Show them the cookie.
Oh, speaking of cookies and pastries, this was made by...
Ginger Betty made this last year. One of Joe's customers, when a year ago, now we were on Chronicle, and to celebrate that occasion, one of Joe's customers had this made up by Ginger Betty over in Quincy.
And if you haven't been to Ginger Betty's, they're a pretty unique store. And so this is a ginger cookie, obviously, and they did a nice job. And I've been over there before, and they have a real nice operation over there. And it wasn't that nice of them to do that.
Sure was.
So you were on Chronicle, is that correct?
A year ago, we were on Chronicle. Chronicle came out here and went with Joe in the truck, as you did this morning. And
Did they have a bigger crew than we have?
no, they didn't have. They had just a couple of people.
Okay, good,
So,
good. We're competing with Chronicle.
Right. All right.
And we'd show you that clip, but we don't have permission to use that clip, so we had to make our own Chronicle right here in Milton. And so, so the food is high quality, and you have customer service. I think you even mentioned that there's been times over the years that some of your drivers have had keys to people's homes, even.
They sure do. They go in and put the milk in the refrigerator
Look.
in many occasions.
Wow. Well, I mentioned earlier when I was growing up in Weymouth, we were 8 children in our family, and we had Dwyer. Eddie Dwyer was his name, and he delivered the milk. And when he closed his operation, I'm telling you, it was a sad day.
That's right. Well, it's all about service, and it's about having and knowing the source of your food, and knowing that the driver is going to be there. And all during, whether it was the blizzard of '78 or all the snowstorms this past winter, Joe was out there, and our other drivers were too. And you can count on it. You know they're going to be there. It's like the U.S. Postal Service.
And the milk was extra cold that day.
Sure was. Actually, that's the other problem you have is putting it, in someone's milk box and then having it freeze. So the people have to be, there,
Cognizant
ready,
of what's going on.
Right.
And know what
And
to
that's
do.
why for those people who are either in the summertime when the weather is too hot, that's why Joe goes in. Some people have refrigerators in their garages, and Joe goes in and just leaves the milk there,
Okay.
and so that works out for them.
Wow.
Tell the story about your mom and 4 o'clock.
What happened with your mom at 4 o'clock?
Oh, just that for years when we had cows, milking time was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's right. Okay.
And everybody was home at 4 o'clock, and about 4:45. If men were working in the fields, everybody came home so that they would be here for milking. And it was years after we had cows, and if you mentioned you were going to go somewhere about 4:45 in the afternoon, you get this incredulous look, like, now, at this hour.
So I bet still to this day, 4 o'clock comes about. Those memories click right
Oh,
back
they do.
in.
And I can hear the sound of the milking machine motors starting up and everything. Yeah.
So 4 o'clock was the
4
witching
o'clock.
hour. Everyone had to come together.
Everybody was home, and then
Now, how many children were there?
we milked.
There's you, Joe,
Yes, and I have another
Peter,
sister.
and I have another sister. And she
Yes.
worked with you on the farm.
Everybody worked.
Everybody worked.
They were equal opportunity long before it was popular.
There you go. Well, isn't that nice? Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to the folks at home that are sitting down watching this video today?
Oh, we appreciate the opportunity to show what products we carry and to learn a little bit more about Thatcher Farm.
And, you mentioned something else. There was something that happened, a milk and cookies thing. What was that?
Oh, in 2004, the Paratis and
At Ben's, the
at
Friday
Ben's,
dinner,
right? And Thatcher Farm did the program from Milton Historical Society, so we called it a Milk and Cookies. And actually this year, on May 19th, Milton Historical is doing their annual meeting. Anthony Samaco is doing 5 Milton businesses. They're doing Copeland's, Thatcher Farm, Bent's, Hendry's Ice Cream, and Walter Baker Company. And he's talking about those 5 Milton businesses. So I've talked to Jim Davis, the new owner.
Yes, Jim and Melanie, right,
and
yes.
Bent's, and we're trying to come up with something that would be a little milk and cookie theme as a little favor for the annual dinner
Wow,
at Milton Historical.
very nice.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll have to come up with some kind of cookies and cream ice cream, and maybe Ben's can ship some cookies up to the farm, and they can throw it in the ice cream.
There you go. Right. The farm actually, the ice cream comes from Bliss in North Attleboro.
And not that,
Right.
less of a trip.
Well, less of a trip, right.
And we
Well,
to the show with the Melanie.
Yes, I
And,
did see that.
And so,
Yeah, and we wish them a lot of luck
sure.
to run that business. I think they're going to do great.
Well, it's like anything else, and I mentioned it when I talked to Melanie that a lot of us, like to see Thatcher Farm, see the trucks around. It gives that hometown feel. Okay, it's nice to see them going on town, and it's nice to see Ben's Cookies in there. But if we as members of this community don't support these institutions, they won't be around. And so, if you like Thatcher Farms, and or if you've never used Thatcher Farms, give them a call. What's the number? Tell them the number. Come on, Marita.
617-696-6000. And the milk is also, you can pick it up at the Fruit Center in East Milton.
Oh, that's correct. Okay. And
but we like home delivery. That's really what we're about. We're about home delivery.
Right. And that's some people might use that almost as a lifeline. You know what I mean? They greet the milkman and get up nice and early because these guys are out early. And some people, they used to say that it was the postal man that would sometimes find that someone was sick or something because they're the only ones coming to the house. And
well, Joe has a customer who's 102 years old, and Wednesday, he brought her over a birthday cake. So
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is.
Man,
what a guy.
I bet you have some stories over the years of some of the things that have happened.
Oh, he does. He has lots of stories. Lots of stories.
Well, it was
all good things.
There you go. Well, it was very kind of you to get up early, but I know you used to get up early because you used to milk the cows years ago. But so we started. This is the first time we started to shoot at 6 a.m, and we were almost late. So because they wanted to get those trucks out of here,
they wouldn't wait,
and they weren't gonna wait. So folks, hey, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the clip of the historical clip that we put on here of the farm, and hopefully you'll give Marita a call and the folks over here at Thatcher Dairy and give them a try. And,
appreciate it very much.
I'm enjoying the chocolate milk. Thank
Good.
you very much. And thank you. Nicole, come over here and say hello to the folks. I'll let Nicole come sit down so people can see you, Nicole. Nicole's our awesome camera lady.
I wore my boots so I could milk the cows.
You stay there for a minute.
I have to go to New Hampshire to milk the
The
cows.
funny thing is, I have to say, I told some people that we were coming over here to do a shoot, and a lot of people said, "Are you going to milk the cows?" You can't believe how many people in Milton still think you have cows here.
That's great.
They're just down the road a little bit.
Right.
So,
that's right.
I'm going, well, where do you think they keep these 300 cows?
Right.
It's a mystery.
But the kids in the schools, they don't know where food comes from. They don't know how it's processed. And matter of fact, a lot of it's over-processed. But this, you might have to have a field trip. Send some of the kids up to the farm up in New Hampshire to see how it's done. Because you know what? A lot of the kids don't know. In Ottawa, my wife's family's from Ottawa. They have what's called the experimental farm, and they have a green belt area that circles the city of Ottawa. So it's no development. It's all farmland that circle, and then you have the suburbs on the outskirts of that. But they have a whole working farm there, and they bring in all the school children come in and get to see how the cows are milked and see how the operations work, and have a better understanding of where our food comes from. And
it's important.
Well, we're forgetting.
Yes, and I know that the people who take from us have a great interest in things like Michael Pollan, who has written about the omnivore's dilemma, or
what was that? What?
Michael Pollan, Omnivore's Dilemma.
Omnivore's Dilemma.
Right. Or Barbara Kingsolver in her Miracle Tomato, Vegetable something Miracle. And she talks about living, being a locavore, living for a year just using local products.
Wow.
And but it is a real concern, and it is a concentration that some people have trying to buy local.
Sure. As we've seen with the financial crisis that has happened in recent months, and everyone's aware of the situation in the country now, but distribution channels, you have some of these big chains. You have Circuit City that just went out of business, and there's going to be, people are going to be scrambling. If our distribution systems break down because they're so global in nature, it's a dilemma. It's a problem, and so we need to support the local businesses that have been through thick and thin and are there and understand the community, and we appreciate the longevity of Thatcher Farm.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. And folks, thank you for watching Talk of the Town, and we'll see you again soon.